Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So let's jump straight into this video. First of all, I'm going to be cleaning up her face in order to remove dirt and oil on the face. After that, I'm going to be hydrating her skin with my Kiss Beauty Spray. After hydrating it, I'm going to use the fan to dry it so that it will absorb into the skin before moisturizing. Next to moisturize, I'm going to be using my Cetaphil moisturizer to moisturize her face. So after moisturizing the face, I'm going to let it absorb into the skin before moving on to primer. For primer, I'm going to be using my Kiss Beauty Primer to prime her face. So like I always say, make sure every product you apply when you're doing your skin prep dries up before moving on to the next product. So after applying the primer, I'm going to be using this nubanbeauty liquid highlighter on her face. This would help me achieve a glowy base. So this is optional. If you don't have it, you can go ahead applying your foundation, but if you have it or you like it, you can get it. This just helps to achieve a glowy base. So after that, I'm going to be moving on to my foundation. I'm going to be using my L'Oreal foundation in the shade C10. So I'm using my flat brush to apply it all over the face before blending. For easy blending, I'm going to be spraying the face before using my damp beauty sponge to blend the foundation into the skin. So after blending in the foundation, moving on to contour, I'm going to be using my Avoc foundation in the shade 35 to contour her face. So while contouring the face, you need a shade that is 2 to 3 shades darker than the skin to contour the face. So after contouring, moving on to cream blush, I'm going to be using this red shade from my Blossom lip palette and apply it above her cheekbone and a little bit on the tip of her nose. Then I went ahead adding this orange color just to give it more color. After which I used my beauty sponge to blend. So can you see how it already looks? Moving on to highlight, I'm going to be using my zikel concealer in the shade Honey. I'm just going to apply it on the inner corner of her face. After that, I went ahead using my Flawless Ivy concealer and apply it on the outer corner of her face. Then I went ahead to blend the concealer on the highlighted area using my beauty sponge. After blending, next to set the concealer with my Merak Cosmetics setting powder in the shade Cinnamon. But before setting, I went back using my beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath her eyes to avoid creasing. After that, I'm going to be setting using my beauty sponge. So while setting, you need to be light-handed. Don't pack too much setting powder. Take it one step at a time. So after setting the concealer, I'm going to be using this Royal Makeup Powder palette. I'm just going to take this shade here to set the rest of her face. So while setting the rest of the face, make sure you use the exact skin shade of the person's powder to set the rest of the face. Do not use a shade lighter or darker. Make sure it is her exact skin shade. For low light contouring, which is dry contouring, I'm going to be using this shade from the same powder palette to set the cream contour I applied earlier. So next I'm going to be applying this shade here from the same powder palette on the places I highlighted. So moving on to nose contouring, I'm going to be mixing these two shades here from the same powder palette to contour her nose. After that, I'm going to be using this shade from my Tara blush palette and apply it above her cheekbone. So after that, I used my powder brush to blend everything together. So we're done with the skin work. I'm going to be setting it with my Keys Beauty Spray. After setting it, I'm going to let it dry properly into the skin. So after drying, next is to bake the face. I'm going to be using the same setting powder I used to set the face to bake the face. Then I went back using that brush I used to contour. I went back using it to blend again. So moving on to the brows, I'm going to be using my brow time and my spoolie brush to lay the brows nicely. After that, I'm going to be using my carrot gel liner and my angled brush to outline her brows, following the shape of her brows. After that, I'm going to be highlighting her brows with this zikel concealer in the shade Honey. After highlighting, I'm going to be blending it with my blending brush. Then I did the other brows following the same method. So to highlight the top of her brows, I used the same foundation I used on her face to highlight the top of her brows. So next is to set the concealer. I'm going to be using this shade from the same powder palette to set the concealer. After that, I added a little setting powder on the outer corner of her lid. Some setting powder on the areas underneath her eyes to avoid fallout from the eyes. So moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to be using this carrot gel liner as my eyeshadow base. I'm just going to apply it on her lid. So after applying it, next thing is to blend it out immediately. If you don't blend it out, it will dry up and it won't be able to give you what you want. After blending, next is to set it. I'm going to be using this shade here from my Kylie eyeshadow palette to set the base. After that, I'm going to be using this shade from the same eyeshadow palette to blend the edges in order to avoid harsh lines. After that, I went back with this dark shade I applied on her lid. I went back using it to darken her lid. So because I'll be using pigment on her lid, so I first of all applied some glue on her lid. This would help to hold the pigment. After that, I'm going to be applying this pigment from MK in the shade Velvet. So all I'm doing is to press it in on the lid, like press it. After that, I added this other color just to make the eyes to pop. After that, I'm going to be applying this darker shade from the same eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to apply it on the outer corner of her lid, like blend it only on that area. After that, I used my eyeshadow blending brush to blend it out to avoid any demarcation. After that, I went back applying some setting powder on the outer corner of her lid, like to define the lid. So next is to line her upper lash line. I'm going to be using my Karite gel liner, the black shade, to line her upper lash line. So next, I'm going to be prepping her natural lashes and also give it volume with my Zaron mascara. So I already wore her lashes. After that, I had to go back aligning the upper lash line again. Then next, I'm going to be lining her lower lash line. So next, I'm going to be using that contour brush I used to contour the face. I'm just gonna use it on her face again. So I went back applying the powdery blush on her cheekbone. So next, I'm going to be applying mascara on her lower lashes. So my girl had to tie her this gele before I went ahead to do the lip. I used my Blossom lip palette. So I'm just gonna line the lip with this color. After outlining the lip, I went ahead to blend. So next, I'm going to be applying this shade from the same Blossom lip palette. I'm just gonna apply it in the middle just to brighten up the lip. So I added a little bit of orange color in the middle. I wasn't still satisfied. Then I decided to add nude color. After that, I went ahead to gloss the lip. So after that, I'm going to be dusting off the excess powder on her face. Then I used my powder brush to blend everything together. After blending, I'm going to be setting with my Case Beauty spray. So after setting the face, I'm going to let it dry properly into the skin. For highlight, I'm going to be using my Maivels Glow Dust. I'm just going to apply it on the places I want the face to shine, like glow. After that, I used my powder brush to blend everything together to avoid any harsh lines. So I decided to use this my Tehila highlighter and blush palette. I'm just gonna use this shade here and apply it above her cheekbone. I really want the blush to really pop. After that, I added a little bit of this TM Essential Always Glow. I'm just gonna apply it on the places I highlighted. Like this would help the face to glow more.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry.
After that, I'm going to be setting the face with my Keys Beauty Spray. After setting it, I let it dry properly into the skin. So I added a little pigment, this silver pigment on her tear dot before I rounded everything up, and this is the finished look, guys. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.